A new lineup of horror games pushes lifelike visuals and grounded, unsettling worlds. These upcoming titles focus on realistic environments, tense encounters, and immersive sound design. Let's take a look at these games that are drawing attention for their intense atmosphere.
That's 6 now. 6 survivors of Raccoon City, all dead from the same thing.
Resident Evil Requiem is a survival horror game where players control FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft and Agent Leon S. Kennedy in connected storylines linked to new deaths around the remains of Raccoon City. The gameplay combines combat, investigation, puzzles, and careful resource management while dealing with infected threats and dangerous locations. Players can switch between first-person and third-person views at any time, which changes how aiming, movement, and encounters are handled in each situation.
He grabbed you for a reason. Did you find anything on Opus?
Not yet. Nothing on the servers of the CIA or the Pentagon.
You are an ignorant fool.
Leon, we're running out of time.
Why me?
The team has settled on a person of interest. A former T-virus researcher.
Because my master made you who you are.
Raccoon City was where it all began for me.
I'm coming with you.
We can talk. What do you want to know?
I don't want any more regrets. Whatever it takes, count me in.
It's been a while since you've been back there.
Yeah.
The great Silkovsky once said,
Atomic Heart 2 is an action-adventure role-playing game set in a retro-futuristic alternate history, where new events take place across multiple locations on a global scale. The game expands its RPG systems with more activities, character interactions, and player-driven decisions. Combat has been reworked to allow both hands to be used at once, combining glove abilities with melee and ranged weapons. The story continues with returning characters and new ones, while new threats shape the direction of the conflict.
for this. The dawn of a new era. The era of Atomic Heart 2.
The Defiant is a first-person shooter set during World War II on the Chinese battlefield, where players take part in missions across snowy forests, guarded routes, and enemy-controlled villages. The game features a range of historical weapons, including rifles, pistols, machine guns, and submachine guns, each used in different combat situations. Levels recreate key wartime locations, and missions place players directly into firefights and tactical encounters based on the conflict. Both solo and co-op modes allow players to complete operations together. Terminator Survivors is an action RPG set 4 years after Judgment Day, where players control a human survivor trying to rebuild a small community while avoiding Skynet's machines. The game takes place in a large post-apocalyptic environment filled with hostile robots, scavengers, and patrol units. Players can use ranged weapons, close combat, and stealth to handle different threats. A home base allows resource management and growth, while story missions reveal more about Skynet, the Resistance, and the ongoing hunt by a T-800.
Be survivors.
An old soldier's pendant.
The Relic First Guardian is an action RPG set in the ruined land of Arsiltis, where players take the role of the last Guardian searching for powerful relics tied to the memories of the past. Character growth is based on collecting relics that grant passive effects, altering skills, combat tempo, and weapon styles. The combat system uses stamina for defense and dodging, while attacks remain unrestricted and skills operate on cooldowns. Players can use 5 weapon types, build custom skill trees, and face over 70 bosses.
Steps never returned. Their waiting became the wind that circles the hill. Only the pinwheel remembers the love of a family.
Jonathan Burrows, creative director of Variable State. Right now, our team is working on Deepest Fear, a claustrophobic horror shooter in a retro...
Deepest Fear is a sci-fi horror first-person shooter set inside an underwater facility, where players control Dr. Donnie Carroll while investigating a secret project connected to her past. The game uses real-time fluid simulation, allowing areas to flood and create shifting paths, hazards, and enemy encounters. Creatures can emerge from any water source, forcing players to manage positioning and resources carefully. The level design mixes first-person combat with interconnected areas, puzzles, and backtracking to unlock new routes and abilities.
Water in Deepest Fear looks and behaves in physically accurate ways. It flows over surfaces and floods environments, it conducts electricity, it transfers heat, it knocks you off your feet with surging currents and deadly vortexes. And it can be manipulated by creating dams, locking down compartments, and using tools and equipment unique to our sci-fi setting. And more than that, a deadly pathogen has infected the ocean itself, creating a primordial soup for violent entities to spontaneously manifest from. Every puddle, leak, or water source is a potential spawn point for an entity to strike. Some of the greatest stories ever told in games have come from the horror genre. Our ambition is for Deepest Fear to sit alongside these great works. Success is not guaranteed, but we know our commitment to quality and creativity are second to none. We will accept nothing less than to make the best game possible with the resources we have available. So expect AAA quality weapon feel, expect creative, strategic enemy AI behaviors, expect intuitive customizable controls, and expect high, stable frame rates across a range of hardware specs. For now, Deepest Fear is coming exclusively to Steam. If you'd like to see the game on other platforms, please let those platform holders know. We want it too. As for Deepest Fear's development, we'll have more to share about the game in the coming months. Please, please wishlist the game on Steam if you like what you see. We want Deepest Fear to be the next great immersive sim, and your enthusiasm energizes our creativity. So please spread the word, tell your friends, talk about the game on social media.
A disaster brought forth by the Archdemon.
Project Evilbane is a co-op action RPG where players fight through missions either solo or in teams of up to 4. The combat system allows quick switching between melee and ranged weapons, letting players adjust their approach during battles. Skills can be customized to match different situations, creating a personalized fighting style. Missions include coordinated boss fights and strategic objectives, where teamwork, timing, and role selection affect how encounters are handled.
With the power granted to us, we'll avenge our comrades and reclaim the kingdom! We'll hold the line until you foul creatures are raised from this world.
Raji Kaliyuga is an action-adventure game set 6 years after the original story, where players control both Raji and her brother Darsh during a conflict involving gods, asuras, and mortal realms. The game uses dual protagonists, with characters switching during story events and supporting each other in combat. Raji uses acrobatic martial arts and the Trishul, while Darsh relies on Siddhi powers to control gravity, time, and energy. Each character has separate movement and combat systems that shape different playstyles.
I love the new game.
Bradley the Badger is an action-adventure game where players control a platforming mascot trapped inside unfinished game worlds. Movement includes jumping, combat with a frying pan, and solving environmental challenges across different areas. A special tool called the Kit allows players to modify objects and level geometry in real time. Abilities include resizing objects, controlling unfinished assets, creating platforms, and turning items into hazards, letting players approach puzzles, traversal, and combat in different ways.
It's what I do. Quick decision. Everywhere I went looked strange and weirdly unfinished. And that's when I found it. And everything changed. Literally. Oh yeah! Make your own platform game, baby! Now we're talking! I had a new grasp on things. I learned tricks. It blew my mind. I really transformed myself. This thing is amazing! Made a bunch of new friends. Picked up new wheels. Figured out how to think big and small. I had it all. And then the code broke down. Where are they? And that's when I found you.
TankRat is an action game set in a ruined mechanical wasteland where players control a digitized consciousness inside a drone that can take over armored tanks. Players can switch between a small agile unit and larger combat vehicles while moving through the dead zone. Combat focuses on destroying mech monsters and hostile machines, then salvaging their parts to upgrade weapons, armor, and abilities. Each run through the wasteland provides new materials, letting players rebuild and adjust their loadout.
You never know what you might find.
Windrose is a survival adventure set during an alternative age of piracy, where players gather resources, build shelters, craft equipment, and manage a growing crew. The game features procedural environments across islands and seas with seamless transitions between naval combat and land battles. Players can command different ship types, use cannons, and board enemy vessels, then continue fighting on foot. Combat includes melee weapons and firearms, with dodging, parrying, and boss encounters that test equipment and tactics.
This is your last chance to show me you can learn. Come on!
Invincible vs is a 3v3 tag fighting game set in the Invincible universe, where players form teams of superheroes and villains and switch between them during battles. Combat is built around fast combos, defensive moves, and powerful super attacks that can change the flow of a match. Players can use different characters with unique abilities and coordinate tag mechanics for extended attacks. The game includes story, arcade, training, and multiplayer modes, each built around team-based combat.
Nothing! Let me see! Just as I thought! Your spinal cord!
Your education begins here. Learn your place!
Come on! I've had enough of this! You're not worthy of my efforts! Get that through your skull!
The mysterious disappearance of dreamers en masse persists. Those who remain are increasingly alarmed.
Sleep Awake is a first-person psychological horror game set in the last city on Earth, where people disappear if they fall asleep. Players control Katya while moving through hostile districts controlled by cults and factions, trying extreme methods to stay awake. Gameplay focuses on stealth, environmental puzzles, and survival without traditional weapons. Players must avoid enemies, navigate distorted environments, and uncover the cause of the disappearances while managing threats tied to sleep and altered perception.
Institute, led by a false prophet who believes that his sordid measure alone can achieve permanent wakefulness. Their strategies for recruitment are coercive and violent. They must be avoided, no matter the cost. At the time of this recording, there is still no safety from the hush. If these words reach you, if you remain awake, I beg you, do not sleep.
Felt That Boxing is a comedic boxing game where players control a puppet fighter named Fuzzy as he enters a tournament to save his orphanage. Combat uses physics-driven punches, dodges, and blocks, with timing and positioning affecting each hit. Players can train through minigames to unlock new moves and abilities for future fights. Story mode follows a bracket of opponents with different arenas and mechanics, while unlockable costumes, taunts, and super moves expand the fighter's abilities.
Don't waste my time!
Save us, Fuzzy, or we'll die!
Attaboy. Attaboy. Eat bread, crap, burnt toast, carb load! This maid ain't gonna beat itself! I've been taking dumps in there all day! Jab, jab, jab!
Oh, come on, you know it's not me. We were together for the whole time. I'm not a wolf. I am not a wolf.
Killer Inn is a multiplayer action game where 24 players take part in a murder mystery inside a large inn. Each match assigns players to either wolves or lambs, with wolves hiding their identity while hunting others. Players search crime scenes for clues such as fingerprints, blood, and clothing to identify suspects. Combat is used to eliminate opponents, and lambs can also attempt to escape by collecting keys and opening the harbor gate.
land of ancient India.
The Age of Bhaarat is a dark fantasy action-adventure game set in ancient India, where players take the role of a forest warden defending the land from invading Rakshasa demons. Combat uses traditional weapons along with mystical powers and artifacts. A grappling hook system adds vertical movement during fights and traversal. Players move through forests, mountains, and other locations inspired by Indian epics, while upgrading abilities and equipment to handle stronger enemies.
The time has come to fight these invaders. The time has come to fight these monsters. The time has come to fight the demons. The time has come to fight those who oppress the forest tribes. The time has come to declare war. It's time for you to join the army of heroes. Fight the monsters! Stand with your people! Play the Age of Bhaarat! Protect the weak! Punish the wicked! Bharat Mata ki Jai!
Displacement is a first-person action horror game set at an isolated polar station where a psychologist investigates a sudden outbreak of madness among the staff. Gameplay mixes survival elements with melee-focused combat, using improvised weapons and environmental objects. A sanity system changes the player's abilities and behavior as the mind deteriorates. The cold environment adds a temperature system, where players must manage heat sources and solve puzzles by freezing or heating objects to progress.
Where am I? Whoa! Fuck! What the hell is that? Madness. Oh God. I gotta get out of here.
You went out for a walk. You don't understand it yet.
Jesus.
I will explain it. I will show you. Oh, calling, Redeemer of the world, have mercy on us. At your feet, we humbly fall. I was frightened, just like you are now. But I listened to him. This is paradise! Oh, can't you see that? You don't get it. So there you are.
Tell me if I got this straight.
Here Tell of Hauntings is a third-person survival horror game set in 1897, where players control outlaw Adelaide Clancy while investigating the abandoned Wraith estate. Gameplay takes place inside an interconnected manor filled with puzzles, hidden routes, and locked areas that open over time. Combat uses frontier-era weapons like revolvers, rifles, and shotguns, but ammunition is limited and gunfire can attract more threats. Players must manage resources, upgrade weapons, and uncover the history behind the estate.
It's just about the size of it, Deputy. But what do you care? I mean, both these folks been dead and buried going on 30 years now.
Well, then it's awful kind of them to send me a wedding invitation, ain't it? And I reckon it's time I pay 'em a visit.
This place has been buried for centuries. Today is our chance to discover what no one else has seen.
Dark Mass is a first-person horror game set entirely underwater, where players control deep-sea explorer Alice after discovering a sunken manor beneath a shipwreck. Movement takes place through flooded corridors and vertical spaces, with environmental physics affecting navigation. Gameplay centers on solving ritual-based puzzles, making story decisions, and avoiding a hostile presence inside the manor. Communication with Alice's brother happens through a radio, while choices made during the investigation determine how the story concludes.
There's something behind you!
I've never seen anything like this before. What was that? I think I'm not alone down here.
'83 is a large-scale tactical first-person shooter set during a Cold War conflict, where two factions fight in 40 versus 40 objective-based matches. Players join squads with defined roles, including infantry, vehicle crews, and commanders who coordinate attacks. Combat uses era-accurate weapons and equipment with realistic handling, where positioning and teamwork are important. Matches focus on capturing objectives across large maps using flanking, coordinated assaults, and support abilities to secure victory. M.O.Z.I is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter that mixes survival, horror, and tower defense systems in a hostile wasteland. Players must gather food, water, batteries, and spare parts while moving through ruined settlements. Combat uses both human and alien weapons that can be modified and upgraded. During key moments, players set up turrets and defensive positions to protect themselves from waves of mutants, aliens, and hostile survivors while continuing their mission.
We paint the Ark turquoise.
There's a dead chef in the kitchen.
Can we use it?
No. He has lost his hand somewhere.
Damn, where?
He cooked it with vegetables. I don't know, Alan. There's no hand.
is Shinnok. In the Kara language, it means thousand-voiced rustle.
How poetic.
Darwin's Paradox is a platformer and adventure game where players control an octopus trapped inside a large industrial complex. Movement includes swimming, crawling, jumping, and using camouflage to avoid threats. Levels combine platforming sections with environmental puzzles that require careful use of the octopus's abilities. Players must infiltrate machinery areas, escape traps, and navigate through different zones of the facility, while uncovering the mystery behind the complex and its strange inhabitants. Zero Parades for Dead Spies is an espionage RPG where players control an operant sent on a final assignment inside a city shaped by political and ideological conflict. Gameplay centers on dialogue, skill checks, and character conditioning that defines abilities and personality. Skills act as inner voices that influence decisions and outcomes during encounters. Tactical view pauses time during tense situations, while pressure systems track fatigue, anxiety, and delirium, affecting dice rolls and the character's performance.
7 years ago, the veil tore open.
Armatus is a third-person roguelite shooter set in the ruined streets of Paris, where players control a supernatural warrior fighting through areas filled with demons. Each run involves using firearms, a scythe, and celestial abilities to clear combat zones and survive enemy waves. Death resets the run, but progress unlocks new powers and passive upgrades that change combat strategies. Players combine different guns and abilities to create builds while pushing deeper into increasingly dangerous sections of the city.
Equipped with our best, you will forge a path through Paris, long decayed. Together, we must reach the Sunless Gate. When we die, we will leave this place. But you return again and again. What are you, really? And why have you come? Is this our salvation?
Gods. Death and Reapers is an isometric action RPG with extraction mechanics, set in mythological realms where players work for death to restore balance. Each mission sends players into dangerous maps to complete objectives, fight enemies or other players, and collect gear. Surviving and extracting keeps the loot, while death results in losing it. Between runs, players upgrade a base, adjust loadouts, and prepare for the next mission across story, co-op, or PvPvE modes. Out of Words is a story-driven co-op puzzle platformer where two players control Kurt and Carla as they move through the strange world of Vocabulantis. The gameplay is built around two-player coordination, requiring precise timing to solve physics-based puzzles. Players manipulate gravity, navigate handcrafted environments, and work together to progress through areas like clay skyscrapers and ancient catacombs. The adventure is designed around cooperation, with both characters needing to act together to overcome obstacles and continue forward.
Awaits!
EverRail is an open-world survival crafting game where players travel across a frozen procedural landscape, using a train that acts as their mobile base. The train provides energy, heat, and life support, and must be upgraded and managed to keep moving. Players can leave the train on foot to search ruins, fight enemies and gather supplies, or use gliders and drones to scout routes and collect rare resources. Crafting and interior upgrades change how the train functions and supports longer journeys.
Oh, I think I see an abandoned bunker up ahead. Yeah, scans show plenty of metal, energy, and maybe even rations.
Breaking. Restart timer starts. You guys ready? Always, Cap.
Coming in, landing.
Speed's 30, 20, 10.
There, entrance.
Watch out, get down. We're running out of time, 1 minute. Got the stuff. Battery's almost dead. Get back now.
Yes, we're on our way.
Crafted what I could, and there goes half the battery. Let's hustle before it's too late.
Crew member lost. Select a new passenger to continue your journey.
Damn it. Another man down. But who will fill the...
Digested is a first-person survival horror game where players must escape a giant snake across isolated environments while using a body cam perspective. The objective is to locate navigation points that reveal the correct extraction pod. Players rely on a map and compass instead of markers and must collect temporary power-ups to avoid the creature. Each run changes the starting position, item locations, and escape route, forcing players to adapt their strategy every time.
Hey, this is Steve from Bleak Mill. Today we're showing you some gameplay footage from our upcoming narrative FPS, Industria 2.
Industria 2 is a narrative first-person shooter where players control Nora stranded in a parallel dimension shaped by a rogue artificial intelligence. Gameplay involves scavenging resources, crafting items, and using upgradable weapons during encounters with hostile machines. Physics-based interaction and an in-world inventory system keep actions tied closely to the environment. Players move through industrial structures and natural landscapes while following story events that connect to the creation of the AI.
With supplies being limited, Nora can craft makeshift tools and ammo using components we find along the way. Here we use metal parts and gunpowder to create additional ammo.